Everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Amanda Rose and thank you for joining me on this rainy day. It is quite gloom in New York today, but I still wanted to show you all how I have been applying my work makeup. Throughout my channel, I constantly have changed and evolved my work makeup, as most things do, right? We evolve, we change, we see what works, what doesn't work for us. And so I wanted to show you an updated makeup routine, what I've been doing for the last 3 weeks or so for work, and what I just think makes my skin look great, and also affordable products. Most of the things I used, I think except for one thing, is drugstore. Everything else, great products, great affordability, and they last so well on the skin. So along with showing you my work makeup routine, I wanted to just chit chat a little bit, give you an update on everything that's happening with me with work, the classes that I'm currently teaching, how it's going, when do I start group work. So I kind of tackle all of those things in this makeup get ready with me. So if you haven't already, make sure that you subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you all in the next one. First things first, I am going to apply my Rare Beauty primer. I have been using a primer since I've been going to work. I don't know which one this is. I know she has multiple, but I have like a cute little sample size. It looks like this, kind of like a tinted pink, but I'm going to place this mostly in the center. This is more of like a luminizing primer. It has currently been 3 full weeks since I have been back, and my schedule right now, I have 4 classes of 6th grade and 1 class of 9th grade. So for those of you who are new, or I'm not sure if I even mentioned that on my channel, but I work at a school that's a middle and high school. So you can really be put wherever the need is in the school. And because I'm not currently tenure, I kind of just go with the flow. Wherever somebody needs me, wherever the school needs me at that time, is kind of what happens. So I get middle school. This is my 3rd year with middle school. I currently have 4 classes of 6th grade and 1 class of 9th grade. You always teach 5, and so those are my 5. I have never taught 9th grade before, but thankfully my 6th grade content is the same or similar, but the 9th graders obviously go in a lot more detail. It's also a lot faster of a pace. And then of course there's content that we never go over with the 6th graders that I will cover with the 9th grade. All right, so primer is on. I have been using a brush, but for whatever reason, I did my makeup on Friday and I was just like a hot mess. I'm coming down with like a cold. I feel like really foggy. It's not COVID, I've checked. I've been testing myself, but I'm like very congested, whatever. So I don't know what I did when I was getting ready on Friday. Who knows where I put my brush, but I cannot find it. So I'm going to go in with a sponge. It is damp, but like barely, because I haven't wanted anything that will add more moisture to my face. So this is actually the star of the show. Oh my goodness. I have been putting on this foundation, and I just apply 1 pump. I'm gonna look here because my mirror is here. But I apply 1 pump of the CoverGirl and Olay Simply Ageless foundation. This has a hyaluronic complex and vitamin C, and so I don't know, it says a 3-in-1 foundation. The point is that it looks so good on the skin. I will say, when I originally applied it, I thought that it was going to be like a very dewy foundation, because when I think of something that's marketed for like older skin, I'm like, oh, they want their skin dewy and they want it to look like really fresh. But this is not a dewy foundation, which is actually why I really like it, because it lays on the skin really well, and it's not something that is too dewy where it's going to like rub off throughout the day. This is actually what I've been wearing every single day to work. Every single day. So the first few weeks of school, I will say, have been a lot smoother this year than it has in the past. I think because this is, again, my 3rd year teaching the 6th graders, so a lot of the content that I have, I can actually use now with them. Versus before, my first year, you already know if you're a first year teacher or you remember what your first year was like, you're just trying to survive. Everything seems like garbage. You really can't use anything over. Then thankfully last year, I really made a commitment to myself, like, you are going to make these lessons great lessons so that you don't have to redo them. And I spent so much time lesson planning last year. I was exhausted, but it paid off because now I look at those lessons and I'm like, oh, I can actually use this lesson plan again. I don't have to really change up much. Of course, your students are going to come to you with different needs, especially this year. I have a very large MLL population, which is multi-language learners. And so there's a lot of things that I have to scale back, but I'm not changing the content. I'm just changing how much we do in one given day, how much vocabulary support that I provide. And I'm just trying to be realistic with how much content we can cover even within the school year. So I just applied this e.l.f. corrector. It's like in an orange shade. To be honest, when I have my contacts on, it's so hard to see. And e.l.f. shades are always like the smallest shades in the world. So either way, that is an e.l.f. corrector that just fell on the floor. So yeah, so I think that this year is smoother because I have those lessons. So that means that now I'm really just focusing my time and my energy on my 9th grade lesson plans and making sure that those students get a really good experience when it comes to learning. And it's funny because I always love to know from students, like, what do you think about social studies? You know, I'm a social studies teacher. I love social studies. I'm obsessed with social studies. And so I always want to know from the students, like, what is it that you like about social studies? What don't you like? And oftentimes the responses are the same. Oh, I can't remember the dates. Oh, I can't remember this. I can't remember that. I can't remember who this person is. And I'm like, social studies, such a small portion of it is about memorizing dates and people. It's about an event, why that event was important, how it impacted the people, and also how can we see remnants of that event today? It's so much more than just this happened in 1776. Like, yeah, I'd be bored out of my mind too if that was social studies. So I get that feedback from my students first because most of the time that's their response, and then I'll just be like, so you don't like gossip? You don't like gossip? Because social studies is all about gossip. It's all about different perspectives. It's all about this person being there and what they thought and how they perceived the situation, and this person being there and their perception of the situation. And then you have news articles and outsiders, and you're here. It's a mystery trying to figure out the truth. Like, you don't like rumors, you don't like gossip, you don't like mystery and trying to determine what actually happened. And so in my classroom, I really try to get students to ask questions about social studies. Give them images with no context. If you were an archaeologist, how would you begin to explore this topic? How would you begin to find out the truth? It's so much more than memorization. And if you're not a social studies teacher, or if social studies is not your favorite subject, please think of it from that perspective, okay? Like, it's juicy, it's about gossip, it's about knowing and understanding people in the past, and why do people do what they do, you know? Why is it that this person would kill someone off for power? Why is it that the particular Roman Empire that's been all in, like, you know, TikTok and stuff, like, why did the Roman Empire fall? What are similar characteristics? How can we make connections? Like, it's just so exciting. Anyways, I just applied my e.l.f. This is my hydrating camo concealer. I always use this concealer. I've been using it for years. I don't think I use anything else anymore. So yeah, so it's been going really well. That's usually how I like to introduce things to my students and really just get the conversation going and get them excited about the content, you know? Like, so much about learning is student buy-in and teacher buy-in. Are you excited about what you're teaching? You know, I love global history. I will say some of the things in the beginning are quite boring, The geography lessons are not my favorite, so even that I tried to find a lot of very interactive maps online so the students can click things, learn information. It's not just like, let's look at this map, but again, it's what can maps teach us? How can they enhance our understanding of the world? Let's look at this thematic map of religious beliefs. Let's ask questions about this. Why do you think such a large portion of the Middle East and Northern Africa are Muslim? How do you think Christianity spread all around the world? Especially because those are topics that we learn about in 6th and 9th grade. So again, asking questions, things that are interactive, it's usually my go-to. All right, now I'm gonna apply another color because I just want it to be a little brighter, and this is going to have a bit of a peachier undertone. I'm not sure if you can notice, but I'm gonna also apply some under here, like on the sides, and then just a little in the center. So just a reminder, you are supposed to, at least at my school, have daily lesson plans. Now, you don't have to submit them, but if your school asks for them, if your administration asks for them, you should provide them. So that is something that, you know, it's time consuming, and so I've just been making sure that like my lesson plans have been like on point and really something that like I'm proud of, so that again I can use them the following year. So yeah, so I ended up applying my bronzer. This is the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. I love this thing. This is in a darker color. This is the color that I think matches my skin more. You see how dark my arms still are? So I go in with a really dark bronzer to kind of like even out my complexion. But they have them in so many different colors, and I will definitely lighten this color of my bronzer once my tan on like my body completely fades. See the difference? All right, so this is currently what we're looking like. What is this year going to look like for me moving forward? I am still running a club. I'm still doing student government at my school. I actually really love it. It is a lot of work, but I do really enjoy it. Okay, my blush I'm about to apply is the Persona Cosmetics blush. Whoa, that's the biggest hair from my brush. Persona Cosmetics in Bloom. Such a pretty everyday color, and I pretty much use this every day. If I don't use this, I'm using my Merit blush, but honestly I feel like this lasts a really long time. So when I'm thinking about work makeup, I prefer using this blush for work, and because it's so subtle, like look at that color, it's more of like a peachy pink. I think even the color Bloom, the name of it, really does give you an idea of like this pretty like flowery color. I guess it was meant more for like spring, but I think for me it's a really good everyday. Marry these in, and I am going to get ready to set. So you want to make sure that you have no creases under your eye. And so yeah, so that's really been, you know, kind of what I've been doing and how work has been. Thankfully, because it's been a lot smoother, I don't feel as emotionally exhausted like I did in the past, and mentally exhausted. I felt like I was always thinking of so many things and trying to just like juggle so much. Again, last year I was teaching 3 different subjects, all social studies, but 3 different grade levels, 6, 10, and 8. So having to do 3 lesson plans a night, it was crazy. Absolutely crazy. Okay, so I have currently set my face with my Maybelline Shine Free powder. Now, going in with prepping or setting my bronzer, I actually go in with this Maybelline Fit Me powder. It's in the color 355, which is way darker than my complexion. However, again, I use it to set my bronzer. So I just go in, go around the perimeter wherever I applied bronzer. I'm gonna go a little bit over because I know my blush is there too. My chin, mouth, underneath. Just going to go in with a eyeshadow brush, and I'm going to take this and then just do like a quick little contour on the eye. This step you could skip, but I do think that it just adds something to the makeup if you do it. So I don't like to skip this step. Let's add some blush on top. This is my Laura Geller blush in Tropic Hues. I've been using this blush for the longest time, and I never want it to run out because I think that it's beautiful. It just makes you look so youthful and bright. It's just so pretty. So last up is brows and mascara. I cannot leave my house without doing my brows. I feel like my brows are such a staple in my makeup routine, and there's no way that I would ever leave without doing my brows. And I'm using the same exact brow product that I've been using for years. It's my L'Oreal brow product. Again, I'm just kind of one of those people. I'm a creature of habit. If it works, if I like it, I'm not gonna try anything else. And because they're so affordable, it's like, why ruin a good thing? So how are you guys doing? How is your school year going so far? A lot of people were messaging me on IG, and they were asking about like, when do I start group work, and can my students handle group work? And I truly don't do real group work until now, like the third or so week of school. A lot of it is independent, and I'll do pair work, but I think students really have to be prepped for group work. One, I need to know what you can do on your own first, and your capabilities, so that I know how to pair you accurately. When you just start pairing students in groups automatically, you don't know who is actually producing the work, and it's hard to police every single thing that's happening in the classroom. So I like to not do group work right away. I like to have them work independently a lot, or pairs, and then once I can get a gauge for their abilities, their strengths, their weaknesses, then I like to pair them in groups. Also, I go through a lot of classroom management before I put them in groups. I explain the importance of individual work. I hold them accountable. I give them like peer review feedback, so they have to review themselves at the end of group work, and they have to review their classmates. So I hold them accountable so that no one student is doing all the work, and so that there's also not another student that thinks that that student will do all the work for them. I think students should kind of show you what they have on their own. Especially the first few weeks, it's all about, assessing, giving benchmarks, and really just learning the students that you have in your classroom. And I think it's harder to do that when you start with group work. So today is not a work day, so I'm actually gonna do something a little extra, but know that my makeup would stop here. But I'm actually going to use these like L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. I started revisiting them. I used to use them so much when I was younger, but I'm going to take this one, which is in the color 892 Amber Rush. And because I am not going to work, I'm going somewhere else, I am going to just do a quick wash of this over my eyelid. And make sure I get in the inner corner, mostly on the eyelid, drag it up a little bit into that bronzer that I put. But really pretty wash of color. And this will stay on like all day, it doesn't crease. I know everyone, the whole craze is like, liquid eyeshadow and stick shadows, but L'Oreal's been doing it since the beginning, okay? Last step is mascara. If you have not tried the Rare Beauty mascara, I'm not even holding it, this is my mirror. If you have not tried the Rare Beauty mascara, you must, okay? It is such a nice mascara. I think it's good for almost everybody. It doesn't do a lot of lengthening, but it does enough, and it adds so much fullness to your brow. Like, it makes them look full and pretty and fluffy. It's such a nice mascara. And I ended up just buying the travel size, which is only $11 because I wanted to try it out. And so for 11 bucks, it's a great price, and it is a great mascara. But before I apply my mascara, I am going to set my entire face. And this is with the Milani Make It Last. This is the original. I love that setting spray. Again, I finish my makeup with a setting spray every time I do it, especially because I feel like, you know, I put a lot of powder, and because it's for work, because normally on a daily basis, I would never apply that much powder, but for work, I definitely do. All right, so while this is drying, that is pretty much it. One, this is the makeup. I think it looks so pretty. And then once I add the mascara, you'll get a good sense of it. And then also, that's just kind of how work has been. Thankfully, it's been easy, smooth. I don't want to talk too soon. And then we check back in like November, and I'm like, it's horrible. But for real, it's so much better than last year, and I'm really hoping that it stays that way. All right, I'm going to apply mascara, and then I'll be back. Okay, mascara's on, and we're back. So this is pretty much the final look. This is what I love to wear to work. It's so much easier than it looks. It is a lot of steps, but it keeps my makeup in place. And that foundation, you guys, that foundation is just A1. It is so good. It looks so pretty on the skin. The more you wear it, it is really one of those foundations that the more you wear it, the nicer it looks throughout the day. It doesn't really break down. I just love it so much. And I'll leave actually a link of most of the products that I used. You can actually find them on Amazon. So I'll leave them listed in my Amazon storefront if you want to check them out. You can get them straight from there. I've kind of curated all the products so you can just click and add. But this is my makeup routine for work, and then also just a check-in on how it's been going. Hopefully you've been doing well throughout this school year. I am really going to try to post a little bit more videos just so that now that I feel like I have my sanity back, I can really use my creative energy to create some videos. Prior to that, it was really hard to even think of creating videos. I didn't really have like that drive, but now, fingers crossed, hopefully I'm headed in the right direction. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you all later.